Tell you a little bit about my background and my experience as a lone soldier. I identify most with Nathan and Juliet. I'm one of 6 children. My parents come from one of the rarest Jewish communities that probably exist, the Caribbean Jewry. They were born in Trinidad and Tobago. So for my mother, especially my father, okay, he's Jewish, he knew it, whatever. There's like this much Jews in Trinidad, literally. So for him, he considers himself a Trinidadian. My mother, she always wanted to make Aliyah, she wanted to join the Haganah, the biggest Zionist ever, and she had this dream that she and my father would move to Israel and raise their children there. So that didn't happen before we were born, but eventually, so I was born in New York. My parents moved from Trinidad to New York, and I was born in New York, and when I was about 8 years old, my parents made Aliyah to Israel. So my story is a bit different than you guys. I am a U.S. citizen, but I did spend a lot of my life in Israel, so I had a bit of a different feeling joining up. Kind of, everyone that I went to school with and all my friends joined the army. That's what you do after school, so I felt like I had to do it as well. Also, I grew up in Jerusalem, and I went to school in Jerusalem, and my siblings and I, one day I remember we were on our way to school, and we had to catch a bus number 18. And so we were, going to cross the street, and the bus was coming, and like all the kids, you try to catch the bus, you don't want to be late, so we were going to run across the street to catch the bus, and I was about 11, and I had my 4 younger siblings with me, and I just made the decision that we shouldn't run across the street at the last minute. Like, we're already running, and in the medium and the middle, I said, no, okay, stop, we'll catch the next one. And they were all like, are you crazy? Because we're going to be late. And I was like, no, we'll catch the next one, So, another bus came within a minute or two. We got on that bus. The bus in front of us turned out not to be an 18. I don't remember the number, but it blew up. We heard about it earlier in the day. So that was pretty traumatic for my parents, for me, and I think that always stayed with me. My parents returned to the States when I was about 16. So, a little before 16. My best friend from Israel, her name is Tamar Ben Eliyahu, she sent me, those IDF shirts that you buy as a souvenir when you go there. So she sent me an IDF shirt for my 16th birthday, because everyone was getting involved in their pre-IDF programs or whatever. And I wasn't, because I was back in the States and miserable about it. And so for me, that was the most, I'm very into fashion, but you wouldn't generally say that's a fashionable thing to wear. But for me, that was the biggest thing. I lived in it for the next year or two. And then when I was a little before 18, I told my parents that I want to go and I want to join the army. And they said they weren't ready to go back yet, professionally, work-wise, whatever. And that they were against me going alone. And basically I fought with them for about a year until they finally agreed to let me go. And it was quite a process. We had to go down to the embassy and sign up for the Lone Soldier program, and they were busy, and it was a process. So I finally got there. I went to induction center, and I signed up. I went through the regular physicals, whatever, signed up, and they gave me a bunch of papers. I signed everything, I took it home, and I figured, I'd have a call up in 6 months or whatever. So I put the papers in the drawer, and 2 months or so later, I looked at it, and I realized that it wasn't a call up or paperwork, it was a release. So because basically there's some law, like if you return to the States or, in a certain age, like you don't have to serve if you're a female. So I was really upset, and I went back, and I fought with them, and I was like, I came here to join, are you guys crazy? And they said that I couldn't because, I don't remember, whatever. So basically I decided, fine, I'll volunteer. So even though I'm an Israeli citizen, I volunteered to the army, and I also, the embassy finally got everything together, and I just served as a lone soldier in the Central Command in Jerusalem. My service was, like most Israeli girls younger than me at the time in the Central Command, we, it wasn't all of this, trekking through the mud in the middle of the night and all of that. but I still had a sense of, I remember some of my friends from the US would tell me, like, are you crazy? Like, they were all heading off to college, and they kind of felt like I was wasting my life, wasting time, and I remember that would make me feel really upset, because I felt like I was doing the best thing I could do, and I was really proud of it, and to be in my uniform was like the best thing I could wear, and it made me feel, bigger than me and part of a people. And for me, I think it's because I was fulfilling, my mother's dream. I was serving for the country that she and my father envisioned that they would raise their children in, and I was serving in Jerusalem, which I had grown up in, and I was protecting, in my own way, the children that wouldn't get on the bus, that would blow up. So for me, I have no regrets about it. I will say that basic training, yes, was very, very difficult. We did, for some reason, almost 2 months of basic training. It was very difficult. There were bugs in the bed. You didn't shower. All of the things that now, when I think about it, I cannot imagine that I actually went through that. Yeah, and it was cold. There was guard duty. You didn't have sleep. All of those things I can identify with a little bit. Also, I should mention that when I went back to Israel, 1 week later, I was going to meet up with my friend Tamar, because we hadn't seen each other in years and years, and she was now living in Jerusalem, and I was, so excited that we were going to see each other and be serving at the same time together, and I was supposed to meet her on Wednesday, and on Tuesday she died in a bus bombing, in bus number 14. So I remember, my parents called me right away, and they were like, we don't want you there, get back over here. So it was 2004. And, get back over here, and we don't want you over there. And I remember thinking to myself that, despite it all, it was like it cemented it for me. It was the only thing I could want to do. And I was very devastated by it. So the first half of my service, I kind of went through it in this mourning state, but I made a lot of great friends in Central Command. Everyone thought I was crazy when they realized I was American, because I don't have a classic American look, so it wasn't obvious. And I do speak Hebrew, so it wasn't obvious. But when they realized I was American, I could be going to college and I don't know, shopping in Manhattan or whatever. But I was here serving and day to day. They thought I was pretty nuts. Anyway, that's basically my story. Thank you all for coming. Like I said, I just found out about this organization. I'd love to get involved. It's amazing what you guys do. We need the support. Lone soldiers need your support. And that's it. Thank you all for